workshop problems. For those of you that know me and the channel, you know that I love to find solutions to any type of workspace problem. And in today's video, we are going to be doing it again. So this build is going to help to solve a couple of different issues. One of those is that you can always use an extra small workbench. And the other is unloading and moving around sheet goods. I mean, usually you're like trying to hold it over your shoulder and walk in and the wind catches it and it's just a big mess. Or if you do have a mobile workbench, trying to navigate around your workspace with this big 4x8 sheet. Well, that's one thing less that you have to worry about. Check this out. This cart makes an awesome small mobile workbench. When you need to unload plywood or just move around any cumbersome sheet goods, it transforms into a panel cart. So this cart is crazy handy and simple to make. You ready to learn how? Let's dive into it. So to start off with our plywood carrier / cart, we're going to be starting off with the base. And the great thing about this project that makes it so easy is we're going to be building the entire thing out of 2x4 material. So since we're going to have quite a bit of weight and pressure on this cart, there's one thing that you need to make sure to do whenever you're picking out your 2x4s. And that's going to be picking out material that does not have large knots in the middle. Anytime that you have a board that has a large knot that goes all the way through it, there is a pretty good chance that anytime that you put a bunch of pressure on that knot, that it may break. So if you do a little extra digging up front, find some material that maybe just has these little pin knots, you'll be just fine. As always, I'll be teaching you step by step on how to build this project, but if you're a plans in the hand type of person, I've got you covered. I built my entire plan library around something that I call Lego plans. That means exploded views, x-ray views, and clear diagrams for every single step. With over 11,000 5-star reviews, these plans have helped thousands of people of every skill level build successfully. So if you're interested in the easiest plans on the internet to build from, head over to my website. I'll make sure to throw a link in the description. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is to build the bottom of this base. For that, I'll be using 2 boards that are 22.5 inches long and 2 boards that are 33 inches long. Then we'll put this little rectangle frame together with our 33-inch boards overlapping our 22.5, and I'll use some 3-inch construction screws. Now, anytime that I'm building anything out of 2x4s, I like to use screws that have a T25 head. These things are a lot harder to strip out than Phillips head screws. And that's one thing that I'm definitely glad that I changed over the years, because whenever I first started out, I built everything with sheetrock screws. Alright, so now that we have this basic frame done, we'll move on to the legs. Now we'll come back here in a bit and put some plywood over this. It's really going to strengthen everything up. Like I said, we'll tackle that here shortly. So for our back legs, we'll be needing 2 boards that are 24 inches long. And then to cut our front legs, I'm going to add a 27-degree angle to the end of the board. Then I'll measure down the front of the board 27.5 inches, and then add another 27-degree angle to this end of the board. We'll be needing 2 of those. Alright, so now that we have these parts cut, let's go and get the legs attached. I'm going to start off by installing the back legs. I'm going to measure out 4.5 inches from the back of my sides, and then attach these to the side of the base. And then for the front legs, I'll let this 27-degree angle sit flat against my table, and then install these so that the tip of the angle is flush with the outside board. Alright, so this is what your base should look like right now. So for the next step, we're going to be needing some 1.5 by 1.5 material, and we're also going to be needing some later. So I'm going to go ahead and rip down this 4-foot piece of 2x4 down to 2x2s, or 1.5 by 1.5. Now if you wanted to get all of your material at once without having to rip anything down, then just buy some 2x2s from your big box store. Or if you wanted to make sure that it didn't have big knots or cracks in it, then just cut your own. I've just cut off the outside 1/8 of an inch, set my fence to 1.5 inches, and then rip my material down. Now that I have my 1.5 by 1.5 material, let's go ahead and make our leg connector. From this point on, I'm going to call this material 2x2, just like we call a 2x4 a 2x4. But just keep in mind that this material is 1.5 by 1.5 inches. For our leg connector boards, one of our ends will need to have a 27-degree angle, and the board itself will measure 8 7/8 from the tip. We'll need 2 of these. So with our leg connectors cut, let's go and get these ready to install. And to keep these from splitting, we're going to go ahead and pre-drill out our screw holes. From the back of each connector, I'm going to drill a hole at 1 inch, 2.5, 6 inches, and 7.5. Now with our parts pre-drilled, we'll install these to the tops of our legs. Here's our base, and it's as easy as that. Now that we have this pretty much done, we're still going to put some plywood on the bottom of this, and we'll be adding in a couple of extra supports. But now we can move on to making our pivoting top. So we're going to start out by cutting most of the material that we're going to need for this top. We're going to need 6 boards that are 20 inches long, a backboard that is 39 inches long, and then we'll be needing 4 pivot boards. So I'm going to cut the sharp edges off of my pivot boards. So I'm going to measure over 2 3/4 of an inch, set my saw to 45 degrees, and then cut the corner off. Then I'll flip my board, do the exact same thing, and then cut this off flush at 3 inches. We'll be needing 4 of these boards. And to make things a little quicker, after you cut your first one, just use it as a template. Alright, so now that we have these parts cut, let's go and take 2 of our 20-inch boards and head over to the table saw. We'll also be needing 4 boards that are 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So I'll get those parts out of 2 of my 20-inch boards. Alright, so now that we have our parts cut for our top, let's go and put this thing together. And to start off, we'll assemble our arms. We're going to start off by attaching 1-inch strips to the edges of a 20-inch board. So to attach these, I'm going to mark 2 inches and 18 inches on the edge of my strips. Then align the strip with the edge of my board, pre-drill at my marks, and then tie everything into place using 2 1/4-inch screws. And just to make sure that my spacing is right, I'm going to put a 2x4 in between my 2 strips. Then I'll finish this arm off by installing another 20-inch board on top. Just make sure that whenever you install your screws here, that you don't hit the screws that you installed earlier. Then we'll just repeat this step for our second arm. Alright, so to finish these arms up, I need to attach my 2 pivot blocks, kind of like this. And to do that, I'll be cutting 2 pocket holes into each one of these blocks. With my pocket hole jig set up for 1.5 inch material, I'll cut 2 pocket holes into the end of the board that is square. And we'll need to do this on all 4 of our boards. And then to attach these to the arm, let's go and mark the backs of these arms. So if you have your boards laid out like this, on the left side just put a B. This will help us when we go to install all of this. And then from the B, or the back of the board, measure up 9 inches on each side of your arm. This mark will be where the edge of our pivot board will go. Then we'll finish off this assembly by attaching our 2 arms to our 39-inch board. Just make sure that the side of the arms of the B, or the back, is up against the board. We'll be putting 4 screws in each side. Alright, so now that we have our arm assembly, we also have our base put together. Let's go ahead and combine the two and finish this thing up. I told you earlier that this project is super simple. And then with the fronts of our pivot boards in line with the front of our leg, I'm going to raise up each side of my arms and slide a piece of scrap wood underneath for a temporary spacer. Now we'll need to drill a 1/4 inch hole through each one of our pivot boards. And for the placement of this, I'll measure over 1 3/4 inches from the side and 3/4 inch from the bottom. Now that we know where our bolt's going to go, we'll go ahead and drill this hole. And unless you're using a long drill bit, you'll need to do this on all 4 sides. Now with our holes drilled, let's install a 1/4 inch bolt that is 5 inches long on each side. To ensure that our top pivots the way that we want, put a washer on each side of your bolt against the pivot boards. And then to tie everything in, we're going to be using a lock nut. Just make sure that you don't over tighten this and that your top can easily pivot. Okay, so this thing's looking great, working out great. So now let's install this backboard, which I'm also going to call a stop board. The reason why is because it will actually stop this pivot in the back. So this board is a 2x4 that is 36 inches long. But to find out exactly where we need to install this, let's get this top level. So now that we have our top level, we can just slide this board straight up our back till it touches the bottom of our top. Now we know exactly where it's going to go, but before I install this, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill my screw holes. Both of these screws will be 3/4 inch from the end and placed pretty close together. And the reason for this is because we have 1.5 inches of material that's overhang. So the first screw I'll put at 1/2 inch from the bottom, and then my second 1.5 inches. And now that everything's leveled and pre-drilled, let's go ahead and install it. It's looking good. Now that this is installed, everything is pivoting nicely. So we're getting close to wrapping this thing up. So the next thing that we need to do is to build this adjustable front support. So for this, we're going to be needing 2 boards that are 1.25 by 1.5 inches. So you may be asking why 1.25 inches on the sides if our built-in hole is 1.5 inches. Well, that's because we're going to need room for this little bracket right here. This is just a little construction right angle bracket. They're dirt cheap. They're like 90-some cents. You can pick them up at any big box store. But to strengthen up our joint where we're going to be attaching another board to this, we'll be using these right here. And since we'll have some screw heads sticking out, that 1/4 inch gap will allow this to close all the way. All right, so now you know what we're doing. Let's do it. So like I said earlier, you'll need 2 boards that are 1.25 by 1.5 inches by 20 inches long. Once you get those cut, just make sure that they slide in and out easily. If they don't, you may have to trim a little up. And now we'll need the front support that attaches to those adjustable arms. And to make this, we'll be using a 2x4 that is 39 inches and a 2x2 that is 30 inches long. And then to attach the two, we're simply going to align the 2x2 with an outside edge of the 2x4. And then for our spacing from the end, we'll want 4.5 inches from each end. Now we just need to pre-drill some holes and install our screws at 2 inches from each end and at 15 inches in the middle. Okay, so now that our front support is made up, now we need to attach something that will keep the plywood from sliding off whenever it's tilted. And I'm going to use these. These are folding hooks that I bought at Walmart. I'm sure that we can probably find something similar to this on Amazon. If you don't like buying from Walmart, it's up to you. But they're only a few bucks a piece and they'll work perfect for this. Now you don't have to use this style of hook. You just need something that's going to hold this thing up. But regardless of what you're using, if you'd like to inset this into your front board so that when it's folded up, it's flat, then we need to cut a little notch for this. I'm just going to take my folding hook, line it up with the edge of my inside board, and then just trace it out. And I'm going to do this for both sides. And to figure out how deep you want this notch to be, just measure the thickness of your hook. Mine's right around 5/8. Now there's several different ways that you can cut this notch. You can use a jigsaw, handsaw, table saw, or if your miter saw has a depth stop, just use that. Now with our notches cut, let's go ahead and install our hooks. Like I mentioned earlier, I found these hooks in the store at Walmart. I'll make sure to throw a link in the description. Okay, so now that our front support is completely made up and this thing's going to work awesome, let's go ahead and get this attached to our arms. So the best way to do this is going to be to push our arms all the way in and make sure that you leave the 1/4 inch gap on the inside. Again, this is where our bracket will be. Now to attach this to our adjustable arms, I'm going to measure over 2.25 inches from the outside edge and 1.75 inches from the bottom. Then I'll pre-drill and install a 2.5 inch screw. We'll do the same thing for the other side and then we're ready for our brackets. Now we'll just install our brackets on the inside of these adjustable arms. All right, so this thing is looking awesome, working great. Got our little hooks in place. It's going to be sweet. So now that we have everything moving, we want to make sure that this doesn't slide all the way out. So we need to install some lock bolts into our arm and also one in the back to keep this from tilting in case you want to use it as a workbench. So the first lock pin that I'm going to install will be for the back. But the first thing that I'll do is to attach a 7-inch board that the bolt can go through to the inside of my top board. And we'll just center this up at 17 3/4 from the outside edge. Now with that in place, we'll simply drill a 1/4 inch hole through both boards. Then we can use a 4-inch bolt to keep this from tilting. Then to lock our adjustable arms, I'm going to measure back 7.5 inches from the outside of my 2x4, measure up 1.75 inches, and drill a 1/4 inch hole through the outside board and my adjustable arm. So we need this position to lock it closed. Now the hole for this does not need to go through all 3 boards. It just needs to go through the first and second one and just get started into the outside board. Just to be on the safe side, we're going to put one on each side. And speaking of safe side, you want to make sure that this cart is always locked. You don't want someone accidentally leaning against this or a kid playing with it and accidentally dumping some plywood on themselves. So just use your head and keep in mind that anything that has moving parts can be dangerous. Let's get our open position lock hole drilled. So for this one, I'm going to extend the front out 12 inches from the edge of my arm. Now it'd be a good idea for quick reference just to make a mark on this arm. Now with the arm extended, we'll use the exact same bolt hole that we used earlier to drill out our second position. Now we'll just do this for our opposite side and we're ready to finish this thing up. Okay, so next we just need to flip this thing over and we'll install our wheels. One other thing, you'll notice that I've added a little keeper chain here. You can add a rope, string, whatever that you like. I had some of this chain left over from installing my shop lights. I don't throw anything away, so worked out perfect. All right, so I'm going to be installing 4 of these locking casters. Picked these up from Harbor Freight. It's one of the cheapest places out there for casters, but I'll throw a link in the description for others that I've found. And you definitely want locking casters for this, because if you have any type of sheet good on this, you're going to be trying to slide it around without the base moving. So locking casters. To install our casters, we're going to need to install 2 wheel supports into our base. This will give us a place for all 4 caster screws, as well as stiffen up this entire base. So for our wheel supports, we'll install 2 22.5 boards against our side frame boards. Then we'll install our 4 locking casters into our corners. Alright, so now that we have our casters on, let's flip this thing over and finish it up. And the last thing that I'm going to do is to install a plywood base top. Now you don't have to do this, but there's a couple of different reasons why I chose to. For one thing, this helps to lock all of our parts together. And another reason is that you can actually use this as a storage place. And if your workspace is anything like mine, we'll take all the storage that we can get. So if you decide that you want to put a bottom in this, you'll need a piece of plywood that's 25.5 by 33 inches. And for mine, I'm going to add one more thing. That's going to be a piece of plywood on the top. Again, you don't have to do this, but I actually own a metal plywood cart. And the one thing that I can't stand about it is that it doesn't have a top. So that pretty much limits the cart to only carrying plywood. So just by installing this top, you've now made a small workbench that converts into a plywood cart. So if you decide that you would like to add a top to yours, you'll need a 33 inch by 25.5 inch piece of plywood. Just make sure that you don't put any screws on the side with your pull-out arm, or you won't have a pull-out arm. And there you have it. By just using some very basic building material, we have designed and built a super awesome workbench / panel cart. This thing is perfect for unloading the vehicle or even trying to get around in your workspace. So now you've seen me design and build one of these things from scratch. If it's something that would be handy in your shop, you know exactly what to do. Get up, get out, and get your build on. Till next time, we'll see you. Imagine taking a pile of wood and turning it into something amazing. Now, imagine doing that without years of frustration. You do not need a fancy workshop, expensive tools, or years of experience. With Woodworking Kickstart, you'll build confidence and real skills in no time. So you can spend years making mistakes and learning the hard way like I did, or you can start building with confidence today. So join me in Woodworking Kickstart and let's get your journey started.